Hi everyone, welcome back to this lovely sunny day here. We've just finished watering the trees, so let's get on with part 3 of the Jade succulent series. Let's do bonsai. So I've brought us inside because it seems that everybody surrounding us has decided to become the next big gardener or the next big landscape designer or something like that. I expect to see a lot of absolute pristine and brilliant gardens by the end of this corona situation that we're in. We're going to start off today just with a quick look at this little planting and some one or two others that are outside. And it's basically say, when you put them out for the first time, make sure that you don't leave them outside overnight, because the temperature, as it falls through the evening, it will just cause problems, and the big difference of it sitting nice and warm and then going cold of that one evening will cause substantial leaf drop. Now I was going to show you just by wiggling, and we'll try that in a minute, but you can see here that this stem, that one's just fallen off without me barely touching it. The leaves just drop. So if you've got some nice structure that you've been looking after leaves that you want to keep, you're going to lose them. But the good thing is it will leaf out again. It will come back as long as it didn't freeze. Obviously, if it froze, then you can probably say goodbye to the jade altogether. So we'll just give a couple of these stems a bit of a wiggle, and you can see that the leaves are just falling off, and it's just purely because I stupidly got sidetracked and forgot to go out and and bring it in with a couple of others. So all this is just dropping off, which kind of helps us because we were going to take a load of leaves off this anyway. But yeah, that's what will happen if you leave them outside overnight. So I'll just quickly go around the structure and get rid of a load of these leaves, and then we can come in and have a look at what we've got and start making some trimming back decisions. So that's the first bit, just removing all the loose ones near enough. There's still a couple falling off. What we're going to do now is we're going to go around and take off all the lower big leaves. So I'm going to come in with the scissors and start taking off all these large leaves at the bottom. So we've removed most of the lower leaves and the larger leaves from the bottom and removed them from the floor of the planting. And I think, given the condition of some of this, we're going to just trim some of this back. Just taking some tops off, just tidying it up, because some of these tops are just not in very good condition, and if we trim them back we'll get some better division. Now this one's actually growing out quite nicely, so we'll look to leave as much of that as possible, but we've got some leaves that are interfering with each other and stopping light getting in, so we'll just take as many of those out as we can, taking the larger ones out that go on the inside because they're obviously obstructing the light. So we'll just continue to take out the large leaves, pruning the tops off quite a few of these, and then we'll just see how they react to this work. They should be okay, they should come back quite well, but only time will tell. So we've got some more big leaves on this one, and we've got plenty of these big leaves on the inside that we can just tidy up and get rid of. Got leaves over the top of other leaves over here, so we'll take those away. A leaf underneath all of that that's not going to get any light, so we'll take that away, keeping the taller ones. That's the one with the nice division, and there's a nice division on that one. There's a little bit of tidying up work, but there are some new shoots coming through already on some of these, so it's just a case of removing the scarred leaves and any that are interfering on the inside, which we've got plenty of them and they've grown quite big. So this has lost quite a lot of leaves, but I'm quite confident there's quite a good bit of energy still in the root system, so we should be relatively okay. I'll just take these larger leaves off of this one. Take that larger leaf off that one. That larger leaf off that one. Got one going to the inside there that we'll take away. That one going to the inside that we'll take away. Just take the larger leaves that are left away and let all the energy go into the newer leaves that are coming through. I'm just going to take the top off that one, and then that's this one here divides into two there, and then divides again up here, and then it's dividing again. So I'm going to allow that to grow and grow out, and then we'll bring that one back in. And there's another one here that's doing the same thing. There's a lot of division and subdivision as it goes up, some good ramification. So as it grows out and thickens up, we'll be able to tidy it up for better ramification and structural design of the trees. I'll just take the two large leaves off the top of that one. There's a large leaf just in the middle there. There's quite a lot. There's one going in, and I think that's more than enough leaves taken off that. Well, there does seem to be the possibility of some woolly aphids being in there, so we'll give it a spray with some soapy water, and then we'll give it a bit of a tidy up, and we can move on to the next one. So we've got our next little plant in here, and the leaves on this are looking quite sad after this was one of the ones that was left outside. Some of the leaves have fallen off just by me carrying it in, but if we give it a bit of a shake, you'll see that the leaves are just falling off. We'll just give it a little bit of a pull around. I mean, it's done us a little bit of a favour because we were going to be looking at taking a lot of this away anyway, so it's no great major loss. So we can take it back to bare bones and start with the structure and allow the new leaves to come through. There's a lot of low down branching and growth in this planting, which looks quite nice, to be honest. So I'll just go through taking out all the leaves that have fallen, which are adding to our little pile here of leaves. We're not going to propagate any of these due to the fact that how they've come about and the fact that I've got far too many. So we'll get all these off the floor of the planting, and we'll just see what else is loose and falling off, and then we're going to go in and take off a lot of these leaves anyway. So we'll just start working the way again around the planting, taking off the lower leaves that are causing any interference, or they're just too big for what we're looking at. We'll just continue to work away on these. Some leaves going down on the inside, and as I'm poking my fingers in to pull the leaves out, they're falling off anyway. But there's a lot of growth coming out of the floor. There's I think this was one clump of branches that was planted into this pot, and they all come together underneath in the soil. So this is all off of one length of branching, like a hand shape of larger primary branches that were put in. So these would have been the tertiary branches originally, and now they're the main trunks. So there's a lot of nice lines of the trunks coming through, and they were doing quite well, and it's just a shame that I left it out. It just totally slipped my mind to go back out and grab it and put it back into the greenhouse to protect it. There's a little heater in the greenhouse so that if it goes down under a certain temperature, the heater kicks in and keeps it warm. But I think it would have been okay had it been left in the greenhouse, because it wouldn't have had any wind. You know, the chill factor of the wind was probably the main culprit of causing the excessive issues that we've got with this one. So there's plenty of leaves that we can remove. There's some that don't look quite nice, so we'll just willingly take them off anyway. And some of them are just far too big for what we're looking at. And it'll look nice for a short period of time as the new smaller leaves grow in, so we'll have to try and capture that. But I'll carry on going around taking off all the larger leaves, and then we'll have another look. So I think that's it for the leaf pruning on this one. You can now see where the structure of the original branching was with the system as it drops through the soil. But there's a lot of upright growth coming in on all of this, which will allow this to grow for at least this year, and then we'll come in and do some trunk as well as branch selection before it goes away for the winter. Another thing just to be mindful of as you're looking after your jades is if you've got one that's in a south facing window, make sure that you regularly turn that jade, because you will get leaf burn, sunburn, you know, and the leaves start looking not very nice, as you can see in this planting that we've got. This one was never intended to be a bonsai tree. And it sits on the kitchen windowsill, and it does normally get rotated every now and again. It doesn't get rotated as often as it should. I'm not going to lie and profess to be, you know, an avid turner of it, but it has been turned once or twice. But we get to see that view basically with the little elf fella that's sticking his nose out. And we just let it grow. We don't do a huge amount to it, just keep it watered, and you get these lovely great big leaves again. So if you are in a south facing window with something like this and you've actually got it in the window, just make sure that you turn it regularly to prevent this this leaf burn. I'm going to just take these off just because they're rather unsightly, and because I've never really done any work to this, I will take some of the lower leaves off as well, just to tidy it up and see what it's going to look like. we'll just take some of these lower leaves away just to bring in the structure, the trunks. There's a leaf fallen off here and it's started rooting, so we'll leave that. There's a leaf there on the inside of that trunk, and there's a leaf here on the inside of this branch node. Now this growth is coming off the base of the trunk and it's round the back, so it's not really seen, so I'm actually going to remove that altogether. And just take off the leaves that are just around the edge. And this trunk, as you can see, is a really nice, starting to look some age. I couldn't even guess how old it was. This will have been a branch cutting off of one of the two larger trees, and it's beginning to start trying to compete with the other two trees, and it does really well. We keep getting these woolly aphids all over the tree, but it's not killing the tree, so we just keep wiping it off and trying to get rid of them as we go along. Whenever I see them, I make an effort to try and take them away. It's quite a big branch that's beginning to go, so we'll get rid of that one. So that's the back of the tree that will be up against the window like that. I think it would make a nice bonsai, so I might have to start thinking about whether or not to bonsai this one, because the structure of this is pretty good, and I bet if we dug down a little bit there'll be a nice shallow root system down there that we can work on, but we'd obviously be losing quite a lot of this system that we've got to thin it out and make it more compact for a tree. So that's our little display jade. We're not going to do too much more work on than that. Just a note to say, if it's in a south-facing window, turn it regularly and you should be able to prevent this kind of leaf scar burning, because that's happened with it being sat in the window for quite a while. It's not happened overnight, it's just over a period of time it's done that. So next we have this training pot of jade cuttings that were just placed into this training pot, just to see, you know, how they would grow and how they would develop. Now this planting actually got attacked by frost. It was frozen, not freezing, but it went below 0 degrees. It went past the freezing mark, and we did see a lot of dieback, and a lot of it just went to mush, which is what you get if it dies back. But then this amazingly has started to leaf back out again. So I'm going to just tidy this up. You can see all the dead leaves that have fallen from when it was frozen, but you can see this is the end that really got the freeze, and it's all starting to leaf out nice little leaves. So we've been quite lucky with it, and you can see as well on the other side, these have grown well, because I'll just show you around here, there's a loose tie wrap which was on these little green sticks, and this one around here that's in one of these little green sticks, it's absolutely pulled tight around there. Now I didn't put these on, they were just loose around the sticks, and I just, you know, put them over the cuttings to help, assist holding. And that has grown and swollen quite well. So we'll just take that tie wrap off and do away with that. But there's a lot of these leaves that died back and died away. I've just shut the the patio doors that were open. We've got another DIY expert next door working away, so you can't get away from these noises at the moment, I'm afraid, and it's good. It's nice to hear people doing stuff. I'm not really being negative about it, it just sounds it because that's the way I talk. So we'll just quickly tidy up a lot of these bad leaves and generally go around and tidy this up. It really does amaze me to see these putting out these tiny little shoots, and I'm semi-tempted to pull them out and put them into a little pot so that you can see the little leaves in a tiny little pot, but maybe over the next few days I might do that. But the purpose of today is just tidying a lot of this jade plantings, tidying them up. A lot of this I'm going to try and leave to grow just to see how it develops, and then when we pull them out we'll put them into individual pots, or we'll be giving them away, and they'll either go away as house plants or maybe going out as bonsai. This one here is coming out and going all out there, so I'm just going to do away with that entirely. It's going to be pretty pointless going forward, and we'll just take that lower one out down there as well. In fact, I'm going to take both sides of that off. I think this one's probably dead, but we'll just leave it in and see how it does. We'll take that away. We'll take this bottom branch away because there's one on the other side. We'll take some of these lower branches out just so that we can see into the structure of these. Take these lower ones away. That one's kind of a double branch effort. Now we do have that one going that side, and then we have one coming out on the opposite side further up. So I'm going to take away the opposite side, even though that was the stronger branch. And then we've got the same thing happening over here with this one, both sides. So we'll just have a look, see which are the better ones, and I think it's a case of losing that side and losing that side. There'll be so much more work to do on these as they get taken out and potted up and made into something else, whether it's a display tree or a bonsai. But for now, at least, if we tidy it up, we'll have gotten away with the ones that look like they were dying or had died. We'll take out these green support sticks. It doesn't look like any of these trees need it. They'll have been quite loose at some stage and just dropping over, so they were put in to keep the trunks upright, and they've established themselves in this training pot, and they're going to do quite well. And we'll just allow that to grow and grow out, and we'll make some serious decisions going forward, and as we split them up into individual plantings. This is going to be an interesting one for me, the smallest one of the lot with the new little leaves coming in. I'm very tempted to do something with that, so we might do something with that very soon. Just take that scarred leaf off there. Just check for any more scarred leaves, and then we'll put this back outside and move on to the next one. So we've got even more cuttings which have been put into bowls. I've got 2 bowls like this. I'll only bore you with the one, but you can see that the leaves on these are fantastically big. You know, it's done really well. But what we are going to do now, we're going to actually remove all these larger leaves to allow the energy to be transferred into the trunk and these upper branches. So we'll be removing lower leaves and the larger oversized branches of all of these. They all do have some nice little leaves coming in, as you'll see just there. So we'll take out the larger ones and then we'll make further decisions as we go along. Fantastic leaves. I'm going to have to resist the temptation of propagating these, but I just can't do it. I still have a fantastic number of potted up cuttings that are available, so if anybody would like a cutting, if you'd like one sending to you, we're still doing that. We will if you send me an email, I'll put a link to an email down below. Send me an email with an address, any address to send the jade tree to. I'll package it up. We've got the packaging, and get it sent to you as soon as possible, and then you too can carry on growing these fantastic trees. So the link to that will be below in the form of an email. Send me an email, an address, a name to put on it, and I shall get as many out in the post as I can. I can definitely send, I think, 40 straight away. So depending on how many of you actually want any, we've got facility for about 40. So just feel free to send me an email to the email address below, and I'll be sure to send you one out. So that's a tremendous amount of these large leaves removed and taken away from the planting. They have been really big, huge, juicy leaves, and these will just carry on doing exactly what they're doing. We may do something with these as bonsais or trees going forward, or we may just take them out and make them available as cuttings to anybody that wants one. So I just thought I'd bring in a couple of the jade cuttings that I do have available for anybody that wants any. There's lots like this with the absolute gigantic leaves, with the thick green stems that are going to be the trunks. They're all growing up absolutely lovely. And then there's some old wood growth ones that are coming through nice, and they're putting out a lot of small leaves, and they're absolutely perfect for anybody that wants to either start a bonsai or, you know, start a jade tree just to show in their house and keep. So again, if you want one of these, I've got lots available. All you need to do is send me an email with your address. Obviously, if you comment below, I'll be able to comment back to you. You can email me, And of course, you could always like and subscribe if you like this sort of thing, but don't feel that you have to. You can have one regardless. So finally, and last but by no means least, I just thought I'd give you a bit of an update on the Portulacaria Afra forest trees that we rescued. They were in a really bad shape. They weren't enjoying themselves inside the tents at all. They'd all but died, but there is new growth coming through on the main tree in a number of places, which is absolutely fantastic. The baby tree has got a couple of leaves growing out, and if I just bring you in to show you these small leaves, you can see there some small leaf appearing, and then up the top we've got some small leaves appearing at the node ends in various places, just coming through. And then on the baby tree we can see some small growth coming out of the ends of the branches, all showing good promise. So we also have the second largest tree of the planting that is showing signs of life and coming back, and if we just go in, you can see that there's life at the end of some of the nodes and on the branches, all doing their bit to come back, and we'll give these little trees every possibility to come back and be whatever they can manage to grow to be. So that's it for the Jade and Succulent series for now. If you've enjoyed it, please let me know and comment below. If there's anything that you like that I did, let me know. If there's anything that you don't like that I did, let me know that also, so I can maybe avoid doing that in future. If there's anything you'd like to see more of, obviously let me know that as well. And just comment down below just to let me know your thoughts. But yeah, for now, I've been Scott Winard. This is Let's Do Bonsai, and we'll see you again in the next one.